In this video, I want to give a little bit of my background and why I created Demystifying Silicon Valley. So let me tell you about myself. I'm currently a managing partner at Richmond Global Ventures, a leading international venture capital fund which specializes in investing in global technologies that can scale rapidly. We have investments in the United States as well as places like Indonesia, Argentina, and Mexico. Prior to that, I was an entrepreneur at two Silicon Valley-based telecommunications companies. In the first, we made DSL equipment, and we raised $128 million from General Electric, took it public, and then sold it to Hughes Electronics, where it became part of DirecTV. In my second startup, we raised $72 million to build optical networking equipment at the Metro Edge, and that one unfortunately didn't turn out so well. I was also a leading Silicon Valley-based venture capital and innovation lawyer and equity partner at some of the world's top law firms, where I helped pioneer global intellectual property strategy and global emerging company practice. In that time, I represented over 400 companies and funds and did thousands of deals all over the world. I have a full biography on the website, as well as a CV if you're interested in more. So I've had a lot of success in my career, but it didn't start that way. I grew up in poverty in rural Kansas. This is a picture I found recently going through my old room. I actually took this picture when I was 7 or 8 years old. That's my sister bounding up the stairs of our house. Now, the stairs were so rotten we couldn't use them a year after this picture was taken, and there's no glass on those windows. That's plastic. I worked my way into Stanford in the late 1980s, where, among other things, I taught computer science and got to watch firsthand the rise of the internet and technology boom of the 1990s. Many people saw that as a fad or a bubble. A bubble is undeniable, but a fad, no. We now live in the world Silicon Valley recreates for us daily. Where I grew up, I was far from the smartest. Those more talented turned to drugs, dropped out, committed suicide, or just gave up trying. It was then and remains one of the most shocking wastes of human talent. And this waste of human talent happens every day, everywhere. Simply put, this is a human tragedy on an untold scale. So, on top of the day jobs I've told you about, each of which were 70 hours a week, I have been teaching innovation and entrepreneurship all over the world in some of the most challenging places. I have taught middle school and high school girls all the way to public company CEOs, CFOs, and chief innovation officers. I've taught from budding entrepreneurs and investors to senior government officials and regulators worldwide. I've taught at major universities and business schools all the way to small startup groups and coffee houses in Santiago, Chile. I've taught from Cape Town to Dubai to Shanghai, Jakarta, and London, and lots of programs right here in Silicon Valley to the world's best entrepreneurs, lawyers, and investors. In all, I've taught over 200 programs over these 20 years in 22 countries to over 7,000 people. So why did I do this? I created these programs because it was important to me that entrepreneurs learn. I was frustrated at the lack of good learning materials for startup entrepreneurs and the repeated mistakes that everyone kept making, including me. Learning innovation technology is actually hard. First of all, the lessons are expensive and you don't have many chances, especially if you fail the first time or two. Entrepreneurship is often learned by trial and error, not systematically. That creates gaping holes in knowledge because you've typically seen one company at one stage in one geography, but don't have the full range of knowledge. Also, the human brain is tricked by risk-based learning. Let me use a poker analogy. You can make the dumbest play, but because there's an element of chance, it may work. And your brain's way of positive and negatively reinforcing tricks you into thinking you've made a good decision. You can also play perfectly and lose and be knocked out of a tournament, and that also tricks your brain to thinking you made a bad decision. Experiences of most people in innovation are small and limited to a few geographies and a few samples. I believe you need a comprehensive view of every industry from software, hardware, high-tech, low-tech, fashion and sports, innovation, e-commerce, it doesn't matter. as well as different geographies. How does it work in China? How does it work in Brazil? How does it work in early stage, late stage? Companies successful, companies that are in restructuring in Chapter 11. When you have the diverse, complete range, then the puzzle starts to fall into place. Unfortunately, you don't have time to learn that on your own. So I'm committed to sharing all of those lessons I've learned with you. Entrepreneurship was my ticket out of poverty, and I want everyone to have that chance. I want to show you the best practices I've learned and the secrets from the best entrepreneurs and investors. Now, more than ever, everyone must create their financial destiny. We dream and we create. It's what we do. So let me show you how.